Should you still be learning Python in 2026? There are different ways where you can learn much faster, and the old methods of learning are no longer valid. Hello friends, welcome to BI and Data Science. My name is Shiprakash Singh, and I'm going to walk you through a very interesting way of how to learn Python in 2026. The question is, when there is so much coding capability in AI today, what a cloudy code that can write the full library end to end. So you specify your spec and you will get an output. So given if you have so much help from AI, should you still be learning how to code? The answer is, if you want to be a successful data scientist, business analyst, or ML engineer, AI solution architect, then yes, you should still be learning Python in 2026. Python remains the language of choice for analysts, data scientists, ML engineers, data engineers, and AI architects. Most of the libraries that we use for AI, generative AI, agentic AI applications to build a RAG pipeline or to do any kind of integration around AI workflow, programmatically, we do use Python as the default tool. Whether it's LangChain, LangGraph, or LangSmith, or any other wrapper around, say, PyTorch or scikit-learn, all these libraries are available in Python, and that's why you should learn Python in 2026. So the basic challenge learning with YouTube video is you watch and you do less hands-on, and that's why it feels all very magical and easy when you are watching. But actually, when you go to implement, you find difficulty and you get lost. So to overcome this challenge, what I have done is I have put together a GitHub repository that you can go clone and you can practice along all the code blocks yourself. And that way you will be learning in no time. So, my friends, so this is the GitHub repository I'm talking about. It's called the Python Data Science Masterclass. Now you can go and clone this repository, and you see these folders, Py 100, Py 200, Py 300, Py 400, Py 500. You will see a lot of different notebooks, Jupyter notebooks inside these folders that you can practice yourself, and you will be able to learn Python completely on your own in very less time. So it will save a lot of your time rather than going around on internet. Friends, if you run into any challenge, comment on this video in the comment section. Tell me what challenge you are facing, and I will try to clear all those doubts whenever we have a good number of questions in the comment. I'll create another video to answer all those doubts. When you go on GitHub for this repository, you will see here section like it does describe you about why this file is and what are different kind of notebooks in the file, right? So you can see all these, you can read me, and then you can clone this. Now to clone this, all you have to do is you go here in the code and you copy this URL address, the HTTPS address from here. And once you copy this, and if you have a GitHub, if you have a desktop GitHub, you can go to your GitHub desktop. So this is my GitHub desktop. Once I come to my GitHub desktop, I can go to file and I can say clone repository. So select repository. So select this option, clone repository. And once you select the clone repository, here you will have github.com, GitHub Enterprise. You go to the URL section. Now in the URL section, you copy paste library that you copied there, and then you can clone and it will be able to clone. Now once you clone the repository here, you can see all your repositories here, and then you open your the Python masterclass repository. In the corner you will see if that repository is selected. And then you go to your repository menu and you say open in VS Code. You click this and this file will open in VS Code. Your VS Code will open with your repository and your screen should look something like this. So friends, if you are with me and you are liking this video, please share your thoughts in the comment and share this video with all your friends who want to make a career in field of AI, data science, business intelligence, or AI architect. Share and subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you are notified whenever we make a new video. Now coming back to the Python file. Now you see here, we have different folders, Py 100, Py 200, Py 300, Py 400, Py 500. Don't worry, I'll be adding more folders here like Py 600, 700 for more machine learning and data science concepts. But it will take you like at least a month. If you are beginner in Python, it will at least take you like 2 to 3 weeks to master everything that is here up to Py 500. Let's start from the very beginning. I will go to Py 100 and you see there are different notebooks here. One information, to run a Jupyter notebook, you might have to install some packages. in your VS Code in order to run some packages and some extension. So for that, what I would recommend you directly go to this environment tool, this section, the 09 environment and tools setup. I have added this section here. Now, most of the time, whenever you are creating a project in Python, I would recommend you to have a custom environment and run your project in a custom environment. Why? Because that way, whenever you share your GitHub repository or your code with your friends or someone with your team member in your organization, they will be able to run the exact code without worrying a lot about what they need to install in terms of dependencies, right? So what your environment does is it kind of makes it a reproducible runtime environment that someone can install and initiate very quickly. Here you can read in this notebook, why do you need environment, right? What an environment is, why environment matters. So the idea is I have made this whole repository such that it has information at the top and then it has code segments below it. So you can read, you can understand, and then you can run the code yourself in this notebook, or you can create another notebook and you can do your experiments in another notebook. This way, you are doing actual hands-on or not just listening. Now here you can read why virtual environments matter. And now there are 3 ways to create environment in Python. You can use the pip method, which is the default installation for any package or any library in Python. So you can install the venv. Now, and then whatever packages you install will all be captured in this file. This file is called requirements.txt. So it will create a requirements.txt. So you can see to run this Jupyter notebook on your computer, you need to have Python, you need to have VS Code. And obviously, once you open this Python file, this Jupyter Notebook file in your VS Code, you need Jupyter Notebook because it is very easy to see the results of your code in Jupyter Notebook compared to a Python script. It's a more interactive way of looking at the results. These are the list of the libraries that you will need to install in order to be able to run all the code in this file, okay? You can see I need Jupyter, I need a Jupyter kernel, I need NumPy pandas, and all the libraries that you see here, you'll need them in order to run the different folders. Now, it's very easy. When you go to environment, you can create an environment and then you can run all your, you can say pip install requirement.txt, right? So if you use this command pip install -r requirements.txt, this will automatically install everything that you need to run these codes. Once you have installed your requirements.txt, then you can go to your first file and you can see in the notebook 01 basics, we are covering in detail the basics of programming language. Mostly there are 2 types of programming languages. One, the languages that are compiled, and other where the languages are interpreted. You need a translator called compiler or interpreter to translate your English-like programming language in terms of, say, binary code that can be executed by computer. All these basic fundamentals about what is a compiler, what is an interpreter, and something that you will see in this notebook. If you want to learn more in depth about those concepts, I will put the other videos that I have created in the description. You can watch those videos after completing this video. So these concepts are good to know, but they should not hinder your progress if you want to do simple hands-on exercise, because most of the things here is self-explanatory in nature. You will be able to follow them along. If you find this video is a little bit slow, you can listen this video at a higher speed, and feel free to pause the video in middle whenever you are running a particular block of code. So the control is in your hand. Mouse is in your hand. Use it according to your learning pace. How you are liking this video, please share your thoughts in the comment, okay? Once you know what is advantage of a compiled language versus interpreted language, you can see here, most of the time, whatever is advantage of a compiled language is a disadvantage of an interpreted language. And whatever are the advantage of an interpreted language, they are the disadvantage of a compiled language because they work differently. A compiled language takes all your code in one time and then it goes and translate that entire code into binary that can be run by computer. Whereas an interpreter would convert your code from the English-like language to binary line by line. You can read them. And again, my friends, we are living in the era of AI. So anything that you have doubt or confusion about any topic here in this notebook, the best thing without wasting any time would be you copy that topic from here. Okay? You can edit any of the notebook. Once you have installed, you can go here and you can edit this notebook. And then you can copy. Suppose I don't understand the meaning of slower development cycle. Why would compilers slow the development cycle? Okay, so I will copy this and I will take this statement. I will go to ChatGPT prompt. Okay, I'll ask ChatGPT, help me understand. Understand. It will give you a nice explanation like why would a language slow down your build, test, and release, right? So the idea is you use this notebook in combination with AI to learn things faster without wasting too much time on different YouTube channel. And you should be pretty good to follow the all code along just by going through this video. Once you have understood the difference between compiler interpreter, there are some other fundamentals to know like the variable binding, early binding, dynamic binding. These are some important concepts to know, like what are different kind of error types when you are writing a computer program. You can read them from here and you can also ask GPT whenever you have a doubt. But your real thing starts from using the notebook. This is where the power comes from in. So for example, in Python, if you want to create any variable, you just say x is equals to 10. It will create a variable x and it will assign the value 10 to that variable. Print that variable. You can say print x, right? What I can do is, and if you want to add another code, you can always add another code in this notebook by going here and clicking this plus code. So this is how I will do hands-on. I will say here, x is equals to 10, and I will say here, print. So you see, you got the value of x as 10. So this is how I will advise you to go through this notebook one by one. So you can learn how to create a variable, how to print a variable, and then most of the time, programmers write Python program on one line. But if you want to type the program on 2 lines, you will have to use a special character called backslash. So if you use backslash, you can split your code on multiple lines. So, and then after you understand about variable assignment, printing the value of variable, you have learned your step number 1. After you have understood what a variable is, how to assign different value to a variable, you can go to 03 to understand more about variable and in detail concepts. So let's go there to variable, but there are 2 auxiliary things to know. Most of the time, whenever you are writing a program, you want your program to be interactive. So you want to take some input from user, and based on user input, you want to do something, right? So just like we are using here print function to print our value, there is another function called input that allows you to take the value from user, okay? And print allows to print the value of your variable to the user. So let's go to 03, variable types. Now in variable types, you can read everything. Variables are temporary memory location. We reserve some part of our computer memory to put a value to that memory, and Whenever we need the value, we can fetch that value from memory by telling the address of the memory, and the address of the memory is the variable. So whenever we say, for example, if we create a variable called first name and we tell computer first put a value which says valid inside first name. So I'm reserving a memory spot in computer, and I'm telling the name of that memory spot is first name, and the value that should be stored in that memory store should be valid. And then I can print my valid variables, right? Also, whenever you are assigning these names to access memory, those are called the variable names, right? This is your app variable name. On the left hand, you have your variable name, and on the right hand, you have the value that you are assigning to that variable memory location, that variable's memory location. Now, there are some rules in Python that you need to follow when you create a variable. So your variable has to always start with underscore or a letter. You cannot start a variable with a number. So I cannot create a variable called first name. It has to be a letter, or you can use underscore, right? So this is how you create a correct variable name. If you try to use first variable name, like if you try to use the number or any other special character other than underscore, you will get an error. Okay, and you can test everything. Suppose I write a code here and now I'm making an error. I'm saying my variable is one var. And then if I try to put some value here, one var is 10, it will not run, right? It will say syntax error, invalid decimal letter, right? And you know what is syntax error, right? You can go to your file 01 basics, and here you can read about what is syntax error, right? I can go here and I can read there are different kind of errors. Syntax error is when Python doesn't understand what you want it to do, right? So there are certain rules of the language that you have to follow. If you don't follow those rules, the interpreter will not know how to translate it so that computer can run it, right? So there are other kinds of error as well. We will learn later, and once you practice the code, you will learn them. So the whole idea is you use this repository in conjunction with an AI tool to increase your understanding and do a lot of hands-on practice. Feel free to use multiple blocks of code and start writing code yourself, right? So going back to your variable section, I know what name I can give to my variable. Now there is different data types of variable. Now to understand data type, I can go to 3B notebook. I know like data types are which tell computer what kind of value you are storing in the memory and how those values will be stored, how they will behave in the program, and what rules have to be taken care when you are working with that memory location. For example, if you have a string in your memory location, you cannot do a addition or subtraction on your strings, right? Addition may still make sense for a string. It will add two strings together, but then subtraction or division does not make any sense. You cannot divide one name by another name. Computer will know I can do division only when there are numbers. If there is no number, then I will give an error message. If you try to divide two strings, computer will say operation not supported. That's a syntax error. Now, in mathematics, if you try to divide a number by zero, value, right? Dividing by zero is infinitely large number and it is undefined, right? So whenever you try to divide it by zero, you will get a runtime error. So computer, when it is doing it on the runtime, it will tell you you're trying to divide it by zero. So it will get, that's the runtime error, right? So coming back to variable data type, there is numeric, there is string, right? In numeric, you can give number, like here I'm saying X is 100, right? And go here. So there are three kinds of numeric data type. It can be a whole number, so this is called integer, or you can have decimal numbers, which is called floating point numbers, or you can have 1 or 0. 1 or 0 is nothing but think of it as a true or false. So that's also, it's a special category of integer. We call it Boolean data type. Other way can be you can have a exact name, or you can put long sentences, right? So those are your string operations, right? Those are your string variables. Then I already talked about what a Boolean variable is. And again, I'm saying this again and again. All you have to do is you have to create a new block of code and you have to start practicing. You create variable, you call it my variable, use myvar, and you can say myvar equal to 10. And you can print this myvar, right? Use myvar. Here what I'm doing, this is my integer variable. Now when I do 10.6, this is my float variable. Okay, when I say my var equals to true, use, then it prints true. It's a Boolean variable. And when I say my var is, say something called, this is a string. This is a string example. Now if I run this, it will print me, this is a string example. So the whole idea is you go and you practice in the notebook. So I'll say copy the GitHub repository from the description and start practicing yourself. This is the best way to learn Python without wasting a lot of time and energy. Whenever you are in doubt, go and ask the AI, any AI tool, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or Cloud, or Sonnet, whatever, or DeepSeek, whatever you are using. Whenever you are in doubt, you ask AI, like, I am trying to run this line of code in Python. This is the error I am getting. What do I do? Right? That's how you learn. So we learn the basics of the language, we learn variables, we learn data types. Now in the data type, we saw there are many data types. So we will learn, if you want to learn more and exercise more with integer data type, you go to the integer section. Now here with integer, we can do a lot of operations. Like we can round the value of a floating point number. For integer, we can convert it into floating point. Or if an integer is having a negative value, we can convert it to have a positive value, right? There are different functions like absolute function. So this is what it does. To use the absolute function, you call ABS. ABS is an absolute function that converts any negative number to positive number, right? Round is a function that converts any floating point number to nearest integer, right? What it will do is it will just remove the decimal part, that's it. And it will remove all the decimal part and it will make it integer. Very simple, intuitive method. By going through this notebook, you should be able to comprehend. Same thing, when you want to learn more about string functions, you can go on the string part of the notebook and here you can see, okay, if I have a string like this, my name, and I have lot of blank space before name at the end of the name. So there are functions called elif. This will remove all the blank spaces from a text variable from the beginning. Elif will remove all the blank spaces. In computer language, we also call it white spaces. It will remove all the white spaces from the end. R strip will remove it from the right side. L strip will remove it from the left side. And if you call a strip function, it will remove both from the left and from the right. There is no function that will remove the white spaces from the middle of this string. You have to use another kind of logic to get that, okay? So every function has its own capability. Like if you want to make something in uppercase, you can use dot upper function. Again, guys, here just create another code and here type yourself what you want to do. Say, I want to create a variable string. I will call it var string, and these are any name as long as you are using a letter to start and a underscore to start. You're good. The numbers can come in middle and but not in the beginning. And only special character underscore is allowed. You cannot have any other special character other than underscore. So you have var string, and I say var string, I can put here anything. Let's say I put some space and then say I say my first string variable. Okay. And then I do more space. Guys, I'm saying this again and again. The best way to use this notebook is just go press this add code button, add a code cell, run things on your own and see how they behave. You'll make mistake, you'll get error, but you will learn in the process. So I can go here and I can create a variable called myvar. Use can be any name as long as you are starting with underscore and letters. I can say myvar. This is use, and I can do my first string variable, right? And then I can have lot of space, right? And then what I can do is first I want to see how this looks like. So I can just say print myvar. Use, okay. Use, and you can run this to see how it looks. I'll select my environment. Once I select my environment, I can run this. This is my first string variable, right? Now, guys, because I am using a Python, I'm using a Jupyter notebook, I don't need this print. By default, whatever is the last value in the cell that gets printed. So if I just say here myvar, that's it, nothing else. It will still print the value of myvar, okay? Now, we want to test all the functions that we have learned. So I can say here myvar dot say strip, right? It should remove all the white spaces. See, it removed. Earlier it had space between the quote. Now it has removed. Now suppose I want to make it upper. So I want to make everything capital. So I will say it upper, right? Easy. And now I will run it. You see, this has converted it to uppercase. So all the functions that are listed here, these are most common functions that a programmer uses in most of the time. You can experiment all these functions one by one here, okay? So in the era of AI, you have to find intelligent ways of doing things faster, and the old methods of learning are no longer valid. So there are different ways where you can learn much faster. And my whole objective of making this video and sharing this repository with you is to make you learn faster. And if you like this initiative, just comment fast. In the comment box, type fast. This is how you test the string functions. And you can then go here and test different things on on the integer and float functions we talked about. Same thing, you can create some date variables and you can use some common date functions on the date variable, right? You can use things on operators variable, right? So these are all different ways how you can use. And if you want to do experiment with list, now list are nothing but it's a collection of many different values in one variable. So suppose I'm trying to create a list of numbers. So I can have comma separated number inside this big brackets, right? So this is my variable for numbers. Now, if you want to see numbers, you can print a particular number, right? You can call the particular value of the number, it will print it. You can assign the index, like the position of these numbers, like when we create a list of numbers 10, 20, 30, by default, the index is 0. So the first position is the 0th position. So if I specify fruits 0, that will give me apple because apple is in the first spot. So this is 0 spot. This is the first spot. This is second spot. Now, when I say -1, it means it will start fetching from the back. So my cherry is -1, banana is -2. And if I want something in the range, I can specify 1, 2, 3. This means it will pull banana and this will pull cherry, right? This is all these you can run. The whole idea of giving you this notebook is all possible things that we use in real life. Dirty your hands. Go add a code block here and type your own values, create your own variable, give your own numbers here, and you see how they are behaving. So this is the best way to learn Python. We are running a live class where we are teaching more advanced things than this basic thing. You can register to our live cohort, and our live cohort will close on March 7th. So after March 7, you can still follow us and learn from us on YouTube. But our live cohort that we do the live session, interactive session, will be closing the admission there, right? But you will have access to this repository, and whatever we are teaching in that live course, we will keep adding those notebooks here. So you don't have to worry. You can always update your repository and you can always fetch the best copy that is available online. And that's why I told you, you can do exercise here as well, but you can do exercise in a different notebook, because whenever you fetch this notebook, this will overwrite your changes. Okay. The idea is go ahead, dirty your hands, use the repository, run all these codes on your own and see the magic. And wherever you run in doubt, just ask ChatGPT, what does this mean in Python? It will explain you. Read from ChatGPT, practice in the notebook. Okay. So once you have learned the basics, how to create variable, data types, different kind of common functions that you use on different data type, then you can go and start learning control flow. Control flow is how the code is run, how the computer decides which line to run in what order. That is called control flow. And mostly there are only 3 types of control flow. You have sequential, you have conditional, and you have iterative control flows, right? So sequential is when your code runs line by line. Conditional is when one part of code runs if something has one value, and if that value is not true, or if that variable has different value, different line of codes run. So this is how you solve different kind of problems, right? Here you have detailed example of every syntax that you need to learn, right? In different notebooks. So for conditional, you can go here and it will start very basic. Like the first condition can be where I just compare one value. Like if the temperature is more than 37 degrees Celsius. Now this is not in Fahrenheit. If the temperature is more than 37 degrees Celsius, we can say it is hot, right? Or if it's a body temperature, we can say you have a fever. And if the temperature is less than 38, we can say you don't have a fever. But here we are only saying one thing. Whenever this is more than 37, we are saying you are having a fever. Like voting, our voting right, you get a voting right once you are more than 18-year-old. So if your age is more than 18-year-old, you can vote. If your age is less than 18 year, we are not giving any message. To give that part of message, you need an else statement. So now I can see, now I can say here, I can write here. And again, guys, everything is practice, right? Just you copy this code, add a cell here, and just paste it. And now you write your else on your own. I will go here, I'll say else, say you are not eligible to vote. Say here, print, you're not eligible to vote. I will go ahead and I'll run this. There is no kernel attached. Let me attach a kernel. I will attach my kernel to run. So Jupyter Notebooks needs a kernel to run. Now, when your age is 20, you are eligible to vote. But if I make your age 12-year-old, you will not get this message because you don't satisfy this condition. You satisfy the bottom condition. So you are not eligible to vote. You are not eligible to vote. This is how I can run different statements in different cases. Similarly, you can have many if else's, you can have if else inside if else, and for that we shorten the else if with just elif, right? So if you want to have multiple conditions, you can have elif. So go ahead, practice all these things. And if you have any doubt, you just type doubt in the comment or you detail your doubt and we will make one video around your doubt. But the idea is if you are willing to learn, copy this notebook, use some AI and build your memory muscle about programming. In couple of weeks, you will become a wonderful programmer. So welcome to the learning world and I will see you becoming a expert programmer in coming months. Now you can go ahead and you can test more things around Pi 200 in Pi 300. We have more complicated program. You can start doing those complicated program and as you add your comments in the comment section, we'll try to make smaller 10 minutes, 5 minutes explainer video around your doubts, okay? So that is all for today. I wanted to introduce you a new way of learning Python in 2026, and I'm hopeful this method excites you and it kind of makes you more interested in learning programming. So welcome to our journey, and until we meet next time, take care and have a good time programming. And please like, subscribe to the channel because we want to see you very often on this channel.